Jamaican diaspora abroad. Sides of the story. Both sides of the story. The role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story. Sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and Jamaicans abroad on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Stay with us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story by calling our local numbers 876 922 411225. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Power 106 FM app via the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, as well as on onespotmedia.com. Thus, listeners in the USA can dial 631-359-8281 to listen. And if you're in the UK and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, you can call 0330-606-0953. You can watch both sides of the story live on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Both Sides 106. Email bothsides106@live.com. Send your WhatsApp voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
We have neither summer nor winter, neither autumn nor spring. We have instead the days when the gold sun shines on the lush green cane fields magnificently. The days when the rain beats like bullets on the roofs and there's no sound but the swish of water in the gullies and trees struggling in the high Jamaica winds. Also, there are the days when leaves fade from off guango trees and the reaped cane fields lie bare and fallow to the sun. But best of all, there are the days when the mango and the logwood blossom, when the bushes are full of the sound of bees and the scent of honey, when the tall grass sways and shivers to the slightest breath of air, when the buttercups have paved the earth with yellow stars, and beauty comes suddenly, and the rains have gone.
We promise faithfully. Study with our talents and bring our gifts slowly. Jamaica, we will always in honor of thy name. Walk steadfastly and wisely, and never bring thee shame. From riverside, from mountain, from cane fields to thirsty, for our truth, Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free. Gathering our country in love and brotherhood. We work and pray for freedom as all God's children should. With hearts and hands united, we thanks for everything that God has given to us. Together let us sing. From riverside to mountain, from Fayetteville to us. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
Jamaica, Land of Beauty by Jimmy Tucker. And before that, Nature by H.D. Carberry. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 22nd day of the 7th month of 2024. Put another way, it's the 22nd day of the 2nd month of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. In the United States, July is being observed as Cord Blood Awareness Month, Healthy Vision Month, International Group B Strep Throat Awareness Month, Juvenile Arthritis Awareness Month, National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness and Prevention Day for Prevention Month, Sarcoma Awareness Month, and UV Safety Awareness Month. The birthday of King Sobhuza II is being celebrated in Swaziland. It's Liberation Day in Gambia, National Tree Planting Day in the Central African Republic, and People's Uprising Day in Slovenia. It is Monday, the 22nd of July, 2024, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
And never bring the shame from the riverside to mountain, from Fayetteville to us. For our salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And we should at the outset apologize for the absence of this week's edition of Land Solutions, the program where all your land related matters are dealt with. The program takes a break this week and, all things being well, returns to the airwaves next Monday here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And it's an opportunity to hear your thoughts and to air your thoughts. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. We have a few messages to go through, and we'll see how that goes at the outset. And we'll come back to that. Franklin McDonald, as usual, first off the mark, learning from Hurricane Maria is what he's directing our attention to right now. And we're going to read on in a little while from now. But this one coming through from sciencedirect.com. And this is the one we want to start with. And there's a significant day for today, on this day in 1688, a report was submitted by Sir Thomas Powys, His Majesty's Attorney General. The report recommended the setting up of a post office in Jamaica under the control of the Earl of Rochester, the Postmaster General of Britain. That is not to say that we didn't have a post office in Jamaica at that time. In fact, in the year 1663, the then reigning monarch, King Charles II, instructed Thomas Lynch, Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica, to make all the necessary arrangements for the establishment of a post office on the island. The office was to be under the management of Daniel O'Neill, Postmaster General of London, to whom all accounts were to be sent. This royal action ensured for Jamaica the honor of being the first British colony to establish its own post office. Nonetheless, it was not until 1670, when a gentleman from Port Royal complained to London, the Secretary of the General Post Office, GPO, that the conveyors of the mail were opening letters sent, that any real action was taken. Roused to action by this letter, London at once requested the authorities in the island to take action, and by order of the Council of Jamaica, which met at St. Diego de la Vega on September 21st, 1671, the Marshal was ordered to go on board every vessel and receive all letters, both from master and passengers. He was further instructed to make a list of all the letters received and to give receipts for them. For this service, he was empowered to charge a small fee of threepence. Later that year, on October 31st, 1671, the council appointed one Gabriel Martin as Postmaster General of Jamaica, with instructions that he should create a post office both at Passage Fort and St. Jago. We'll come back with more in a moment, but first, on to your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 411225. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Oh, let's take the break first and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement wealth creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free. Gathering our country, in love and brotherhood. We work and gain freedom as all God's children do. Hearts and hands united, with thanks for everything that God has given to us. Together let us sing. From riverside to mountain, from Hayfield to us, our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free. From riverside to mountain, from Hayfield to us, our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free. Gathering our country, in love and brotherhood. In work and play in freedom, as all God's children should. With hearts and hands united, in thanks for everything that God has given to us. Together let us sing. From riverside to mountain, from Hayfield to us, our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and taking your calls on 876-922-4112 and the text line 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. We're standing by to connect with Rose Binder, who is in Stuttgart in Germany, who is scheduled to join us any moment now. And we look forward to hearing from her and the updates she'll be giving us on the performances of our motorsports team and other results. So we're going to share that in a little while from now here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And so we will be speaking with Rose Binder first, and then we bring in the motorsport stars, that opportunity awaits. And as soon as the team is ready, we will connect with them and their plans going forward and the growth of the Jamaicans in Germany, in the Jamaican diaspora in Germany. So we're going to get some of that as well. And first, to ensure that we are properly connected, and so we're going to make that connection in just a moment here on both sides of the story. And we're going to hear from Senna Somerville, and Tommy Gore is going to be joining us as well. So let's see if we have Senna Somerville on the line. And then we'll pick up the discussions from there here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. So our sportsmen and women are all over the world competing at different levels and in different conditions. And we're very happy to connect with them and get a sense as to how they're doing. Rosemary Francis Binder is going to be updating us as well. She is based in Germany, and it's an opportunity. That's Senna Somerville, who is going to be connecting with us in a little while from now. And we'll also be hearing from Tommy Gore, but first, Senna Somerville. And soon after we have made those connections, then we will carry on with the other links that we have to make. So Rosemary Francis Binder is going to share a bit of her story and the ultimate connection with the sportsmen and women operating out of Germany on behalf of Jamaica. And so we We're going to go with Senna Somerville. Good afternoon, Senna Somerville. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm not too bad. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us. In general terms, where are you now?
I'm in Kingston, Jamaica.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Where have you been? Where were you before coming home this weekend?
Well, this weekend I actually participated in a race at Palisades in Kingston, Jamaica, out at the airport. But before that, we were in Germany like last month or so racing.
Mm-hmm. And what can you describe for us the nature and extent of that competition you participated in?
Yeah, so Tommy Gore and myself,
Mm-hmm.
we've been participating in the GT4 Germany series. It's a well-known series across Europe, and we were racing an Audi R8 against some cars like the BMW GT4, the Porsche GT4, and that's the series we've been competing against. And the alliance with Tommy was formed because both of us have done extremely well in our circuit racing career, and it's amazing because our fathers have been competitive all their life, and we've come together to form a great Team Jamaica Racing and represent Jamaica very well.
And Tommy Gore, this has been broadcast all over the world as well, hasn't it?
Sorry, this is Senna.
Senna, sorry.
Yes, it has been broadcasted all over the world. When you're in Europe, you can be in the airport and be watching it. It's all throughout Europe on Sport 1, Euro 1. And for the Caribbean and North America, it's streamed on YouTube. It's also streamed on ADAC website. So yes, it's a well-renowned race that you can pretty much watch from anywhere in the world. And we've been getting amazing support from back home. I mean, even when you watch YouTube channels for races now, you see all the Jamaicans watching us and supporting us, and it's amazing the amount of support we've been getting. It's truly unbelievable.
And what has this been like for, and what do you think are the ultimate and positive implications as we showcase our Jamaican motorsport stars the way that we have been doing now more than ever before?
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, racing is a massive investment, and I think Tom and I have taken that investment, and we're really showing what we're worth for our country. We watch two Jamaicans who haven't had the experience that a lot of other Europeans have at these circuits and these cars. What we're able to do right off the box with the little that we have from Jamaica. So hopefully it opens up a lot of eyes, and hopefully we continue down this path where a lot of companies come on board, a lot of people keep supporting us, watching us grow, watching us do better and better, and hopefully one day we'll be at the top of the series, even hopefully in DTM one day or an even bigger series.
Mm-hmm. Has Tommy Gore come on the line yet? No?
No, I don't think.
Oh. Okay, no problem. Just checking. Wouldn't want him to be waiting. All right, so we're gonna get a little more. So how would you sum up your last major tournament within the last few days?
Well, the last race in Germany was a month ago at last race, and it wasn't our best results. We had a horrible weekend with the team, which has caused us to actually leave the Audi team that we were on from Czech Republic, and now we've actually switched to a Porsche team it's a German-based Porsche team, and we're hoping for much better results. The team is a much more well-recognized team, has much better facilities. We're actually going away next week Sunday to start our training in their facility where they have simulators, they have coaches, they have anything you can think of to get us to drive us up peak performance. And so we'll be there actually next week Sunday, all the way till the following week Sunday, where we'll be in their facility on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll be driving at Nürburgring on Friday. So that should be awesome. I mean, Nürburgring is an amazing track, and we'll be back home on Sunday. And regarding my race this weekend, I actually did extremely well out at the Power Traders go-kart track in Kingston, Jamaica, where that's where we all grew up racing and learning. And just to go back there, set some awesome laps and won 2 out of the 3 races. So it was an amazing race. And that's just how I'm preparing for next week and making sure everything is, all my T's are crossed and making sure that when I go to Germany next week, I'll be on form,
All right. And you should have a lot of Jamaicans joining you as well. Hold a moment, please. Let's take this break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Big Money Bingo! It's here again when the RG Arena Netballers present Big Money Bingo with the Queens Casanova. Win big cash prizes of $100,000 from our sponsors: Carrot Joyce Pharmacy, Bright Diamond Funeral Services and Supplies, Affirm Ambulance Service, Globescope Travel Vacations, and 876 Nurses. Prizes and surprises from Cows Manufacturing Company, the Educational Network. Get your tickets now at RG Arena 32 Liters Road and the Gleaner Company for only $1,500. Only $1,500. Big Money Bingo! Friday, August 2, 2024 at 7 North Street. You hear? August 2, 7 North Street, starting at 7 p.m. with DJ Taya. No vibes, prizes, and surprises at Big Money Bingo!
With our talents and brave explore.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we've just been speaking with Senna Somerville on recent exploits in motor racing and related matters. And we are using the opportunity as well to bring to your attention, Senna Somerville, that, and I don't know if you know this by now, that Rosemary Francis Binder is, well, she sees herself as your biggest fan, if not one of your biggest fans. But definitely, they follow you around. Gore Somerville Racing.
Yeah, definitely. Rose has been amazing to us. She's been there with us from the start to where we are now, and she's watched us actually go through all the difficulties we've had with our team, and she hasn't stopped supporting us. She hasn't stopped giving us her love. She hasn't stopped bringing Jamaicans to come watch us. She's been probably our most important person to be at the race, more than the mechanics, more than anyone else. She's been there, and we can't thank her enough. She is amazing. So
Yes. And what can you tell us about the growth of your sport so far? Is it on, how is it going?
I mean, we've been growing more and more into the sport. I mean, we've been driving way more than we ever have in the past. And I mean, if you're talking about the sport growing, sorry, I didn't understand your question. If you're talking about the sport growing, racing is, in my opinion, I mean, is in fact the biggest watched sport yearly. If you go to Indy 500, the crowd at that Indy 500 is the biggest watched sport yearly, and with how Formula One has been recently, it's continuously growing, and Tom and I are both happy that we're in an industry that's growing, and we are growing with it. We are getting better and we're moving up, and we're growing with this growing industry.
What do you think has caused this sport to thrive at the rate at which it has been moving?
Well, first and foremost, I think the aspect of racing that makes it interesting is watching people who are pretty much putting their lives on the line. I mean, when you're in a race car, you mean anything can happen. So I feel from an outside perspective, that's one of the drawing pieces. You're watching people who are pretty much careless do something, giving their 100%, knowing that anything could happen. So I think that aspect of it is a massive aspect of people watching it, is that you're watching some fearless athletes. The second aspect is that you're watching people in amazing technology. I mean, the cars that are built around us are absolutely amazing. I mean, I think cars today are probably one of the world's greatest inventions. And when you're watching circuit racing, you're seeing these inventions grow and get better and get faster. And I mean, I think that's another big drawing feature. And lastly, it's super competitive. I mean, in anything, in any of these sports, I mean, the series that Tom and I are in now, there's 30 people who all have the chance of winning every single race. Just the competitiveness of it makes it something to watch, a spectacle to watch, you know.
Mm-hmm. And for those of us who have in recent times caught on to watching circuit racing and have maybe been skittish or in some instances terrified, we get excited as well, notwithstanding how how challenging it appears to be, but at the same time a whole lot of fun.
Definitely. I mean, there's a massive aspect of fun behind it, but for us, for Tom and I, we look at it as work. We go there fully focused, just like a job that you have to go to every day, and you're putting in the work. And when we get out the race car, we're taking notes, we're looking at data, we're driving the track in our head, and it is super fun to do it on whenever you go and do a track day, but we do it as work, and we do it to be competitive and to make it proud and make everyone that's watching us proud. And it's super fun indeed, but like I said, it is a lot of work, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And what's your schedule looking like going forward?
So we go to Nürburgring next week, not this week Friday coming, but next week Friday coming, August 2nd. And then following that, we have a race at Nürburgring in Germany, August 18th. And then we have two more races in September and October that will finish the year out in.
Mm-hmm. And remind our viewers and listeners all over the world how they can connect and watch and listen.
Definitely. So Tommy Gore and I set a YouTube channel called Gore at Somerville. We're actually releasing a video this week on our past performance at Lats Ring, which is super interesting. It's us driving the Audi R8 and an amazing sports car, which actually catches fire and leaves us on a terrible weekend, but it's still super interesting. From an outsider perspective, you find it funny, find it crazy what we do, and you just get that insight of how racing actually works on a professional level, and for people like Tom and I who are trying to make it fully pro and all the work we're putting in behind it. So please go check us out on our Instagram, Senna Somerville, or at Tommy Gore at Senna Somerville. You can check out posts about our racing careers on our Instagram, and you can even check us out through our sponsors, QA Tours, Sandals, our main sponsor, S Hotels, Jamaica, the Jamaica Tourist Board, Reef Investment. You can check us out through all the Stern Williams. You can check us out through all those guys. They've been amazing. They post about us. They include us in their business plans. They include us on posters. So you can see us on all those platforms. So please also support them. They support us, and yeah.
Yes. Well, let's talk a bit about that. How do you see the reciprocity? One hand washing the other, and the extent to which that expands in and of itself to pull in many others who perhaps wasn't paying attention.
No, it's been awesome. We started off with, like I said, our main sponsor, the SSL and Sharon Williams. We're the first to say yes, we're going to make an investment in these two boys, and to us that was amazing to have two people who didn't know the full plan of what we were doing. Two people who saw it as much riskier, and for those two people, it was amazing for them to have on board to get us going. And after they came on board, I mean, we just had so much. Even though we haven't gotten the results we wanted, we definitely have been repping on Band Jamaica proud. And we started getting more like the Jamaica Tourist Board, Q8 Oils. And
Yes.
then from then it just grew and grew, and there's more people who keep watching, more people. Our first video on YouTube got over 30,000 views, and we didn't even have 200 subscribers at the time. So it's been like a rolling effect where it's been amazing the support that we've had. It started off very small, and it's growing and growing, and while it's growing, we hope to be getting amazing results with this new team. We hope it's going to be awesome, and we hope we're going to get the results and make everyone proud, you know.
Yes. And I caught a portion of the presentation and the racing over the weekend, and it was just so amazing. I saw the presentation of trophies and champagne going and all of that. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this weekend actually, Rose had set up an event to launch our car in Germany actually. So our Porsche, Cayman GT4 Porsche that we're going to be racing for the rest of the year, got unveiled in I think it was France or Stuttgart, Germany, where the Jamaican Olympic team was also there. So we had a collab where the car would be there, the Jamaican team would be there, and it was launched at a big 10K event in Germany where, yes, there was champagne, there was other famous athletes taking pictures with our car. It's fully represented the Jamaica brand, and it was awesome. It was a massive event, like you said, where people were there celebrating our car, the event, the Jamaican team, and it was an awesome event. It looked outstanding, and just to have so many Jamaicans come out and even support and take pictures with the car was awesome to see from back home Jamaica, and we wish we were there. You know, we wish we were able to get a flight there because it was really awesome to put on by Rose and the Jamaican Tourist Board team, and yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, it wasn't us winning a race; it was the unveiling of the car, but still, amazing event.
Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be changing course anytime soon. It's full speed ahead.
Definitely. Tommy and I planned that. I mean, we've been working extremely hard, and we planned that when we go to Germany, we're gonna fight for top 10 or even get on the podium. That's our goal, and that's what every day we work towards.
Mm-hmm. And for those youngsters who are excited by the adrenaline rush and everything else, at what stage do they get to jump in a manner of speaking?
Well, it's been awesome. Like I said, this weekend we went to the go-kart track and to see how inspired all of these kids were. Because I mean, the go-kart track is where you start as a kid. And
I remember that we used to broadcast live from out at. Yes, there you go.
Yes. So I went back there this weekend, and it was amazing to see. I mean, every single kid there was inspired. They all wanted race cars in Europe. They all are asking, how did we get there? What do they have to do? And just so proud of me. They're all supporting. They're all trying to ask what the next video is. And just to see how many kids are looking at you and looking at you for inspiration. And you were one of you drove at the go-kart track. You set the best times there. I grew up at the go-kart track, and I was one of them growing up, not knowing where I was going to end up in racing. And I mean, it hopefully inspired a lot of those kids at the go-kart track to keep working towards it, keep knowing that every time they go to the go-kart track, there's something that hopefully will come out of it, you know?
Yes.
I mean, that's come out come in. I mean, it just shows the level of drivers that you can create and the level of sponsors that you can get from being a go-kart in Jamaica, and getting a lot of these companies to trust you from when you're little and when you're driving go-kart. So, so yes, it was awesome to see these kids. I mean, it was amazing, and I was super happy to be there. And I said, I have to go back. I have to go back for the next race because it was amazing.
All right, hold the line, please. We're going to come back and go on for a few more minutes, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Harvey Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we're going to come back in just a moment to see if we can get in a word from Rose Binder, if she's up to it. We're going to try and get through that call in a moment. And all right, so let's do that, because it's amazing to have this kind of support in a growing field as far as motorsports is concerned. And when you can have committed fans from your country, from the country of your birth, it must be quite an experience. And so we're going to put through a call to Rose Francis Binder and use the opportunity to hear her perspective on how this brand has been growing so far. Let's see. All right, we're standing by for that connection. And
that's probably why it's taking so long.
Hello?
No, I said she's in Germany, which is why it's probably taking so long.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, it takes a while to dial all those numbers.
Must be.
All right, well, we'll keep the conversation going in the meantime. But what have you seen and experienced since you donned the Jamaican colors?
I mean, I can't describe to you the support that we get and how we've actually stood out in this series. I mean, there's I think about 30 GT cars in this race, and in the class above, which is DTM, which is where the millions come to watch, they're coming to or Jamaican car because it's the one that stands out the most. Even out of all the DTM cars, I mean, or Jamaican colored cars, they've just never seen a design. They've never seen two kids that really love their country as much as us, and it's really made a massive impact. It's made an outstanding impact. Even the DTM drivers, who are the drivers who are professional and who we should be asking for autographs, come to us for autographs because they just love the car and love what we're doing for our country. You know, it's absolutely, they love it, and nobody's seen anything like it before. Every other car is like a red and black and blue or green design, like just like flames or whatever. You know, and we have
It's almost like the national flag. There is none like ours, is there?
Exactly. No, so nobody's even like, you don't even see people who have that idea. So I mean, to them it's brilliant, and they love it, and they love that we support the country, and they love that. Yeah, they in Germany especially. It's funny because Bob Marley has such a big impact. Everybody knows Bob Marley, and when they hear a car, everybody's coming to us singing "One Love" and like, singing all sorts of Jamaican music to us, and it's nice. It's really nice, you know.
Yes, great feeling. So your things continue to develop because you're getting support at various levels, growing support, and it can only get better, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, it can only get better. I mean, Tom and I have gotten so much support, and we haven't even won a race yet. So we're hoping to do well, hoping to win a race, hoping to come top 5, top 10, like I said. And I think it will be something else. It will be a spectacle to see when that really happens, because we've gotten support and we haven't even gotten amazing results yet, you know? So we can't wait for those good results. And with this new car, with this new team, we were expecting them, and we're definitely gonna get some more support.
Yes, but how has the general turnout been?
I mean, at these events, the last event we actually had over 100,000 people.
What?
Yeah, it had over 100,000 people at the last event, which we had never seen in our life before. I mean, we're used to Dover, which back in the day had about 30,000 people, and you think the world is ending. There's so many people there. But then you get to this track, and there's 100,000 people watching you, and something it's honestly, it felt like a dream walking into the paddock. It really did. To be a race, you think that you're there to watch these people, but when you get there, you get to realize you're actually here racing. You're here putting on a show for people, and there's just something that we didn't even know of. We didn't even know so many people could fit at a racetrack. But these tracks are massive, brilliant facilities, brilliant tracks, and brilliant people.
Can you, for the benefit of those of us who would like to learn a little bit more, as far as the elements involved in this motorsport?
The what, sorry? I didn't get that.
No, I was just wondering if you could share with us a little more in terms of the mechanics, maybe literally and figuratively, the mechanics of this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, like the mechanics of the car, you mean, like?
Yes, and just generally how that takes shape within the sport itself.
Definitely. So, the mechanics of, I mean, even these cars, the technology, like I said, these cars are unbelievable. I mean, when you start driving and you feel what the traction control can do for you, you feel what the ABS can do for you. You feel the technology that people have worked on for years and have put together to make this race car, and that was, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we had to switch teams, because the Audi that we were running mechanically wasn't the best car, and the team that worked on it honestly weren't capable of understanding the car. So it just showed how important it was, and that's exactly why we switched to sports teams who are better mechanics, better understanding of the car, better understanding of what how to set up these cars. These cars are so on a knife edge. If you change the suspension by 3 clicks, it can go from being the fastest car to the slowest. So if you don't understand the mechanics of the car, which is why we switched teams, you won't get the success even if you're the best driver out there. The mechanics are even more important than the driver, and it's the same as Formula One. Formula One has Max Verstappen has been dominating for the last couple years, and you think it's all Max Verstappen, it's all his driving. And in 2 weeks, things have changed. McLaren's mechanics have sorted out their car, and now McLaren is finished first and second at the last event in Hungary this weekend. So it just shows um, how important it is to understand the car and understand the mechanics behind these cars and how to extract the most from them.
Mhm. What's the most fascinating part of this sport for you?
The most fascinating part is, I mean, it puts you through hell and heaven. I mean, before a race, you're so nervous. You're thinking of everything, and you're thinking to yourself, "Wow, like I don't think anything else could ever get that feeling from you." And when you finish that race and when you win a race, that nervous feeling that you were feeling at the start, it you don't that feeling you get afterwards could replace anything. It's the best feeling in the world. To finish a race first, to know that you just beat 30 of the best drivers in Europe, even 30 of the best drivers in Jamaica. To get that win is a feeling I can't even describe to you. It makes everything worth it, and it makes all the work that you're putting in worth it. So that's what everyone is driving towards that feeling, and when you get it, you just want more and more.
Okay. Well, talk about more and more and more. We could go on and on and on, but we have to we have to wrap shortly. But I just wanted to get in a word as well with Rose Binder, and and not, not sure. We're gonna try. We're gonna try again shortly and see if we can. Ah, here she is. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm energized. I'm all Jamaica glowing. The Reggae Racers car was in town yesterday in Stuttgart at the marathon. It was a Jamaica powerful day all the way. From the Olympians to having the car on display and everyone being excited. So excited about Tommy and Senna, and just clicking onto them, scanning them on YouTube to see them, the children, young and old, boy and girl. We couldn't get they tested, they want to touch the car, they want to feel it. They were amazed at even things like how light the door was. I think it was just under a kilo, the whole door. So it was amazing. Everybody's in love with this beauty, this magic. That's this Porsche car that is everything Jamaica. Every angle you look at this car from, it is emanating Jamaica. And people were just so, in disbelief, just looking at this coming by and saying, really, you have racers? And I had to inform them that Jamaica, we excel at everything. Mm-hmm. And our regular racers are just ready. They're ready for Nuremberg on the 18th.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get involved in this sport?
Well, I used to watch Formula One and stuff like that, but I got involved with the people before I got involved sort of like with the sport. I used to work in Jamaica as a public relations manager for the then Super Clubs, Jamaica Hotel in Runaway Bay. And throughout my life in America, in France,
and the last 21 years in Germany, I've always been ready to stand as an ambassador for Jamaica. And continuously, I did this in my village, in my town. And whenever Jamaica was performing, wherever I was, or any Jamaican was coming to my area, I have always been ready to support them, to go out there to help and to do what I can. The Jamaica Tourist Board.
One moment, please. We need to take a break just to
no problem.
Find out if I don't want to mix up the young man. Senna. Tommy.
Senna was on. I think Tommy might be coming on.
Okay. Right, because all right. Oh, hold on. Let's just take the break.
No problem.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3:03 in the afternoon.
How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every first and third Thursday during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice of Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice of Jamaica every first and third Thursday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. Spice of Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Progress Jamaica Spices Project.
Indeed, we salute Jamaica and Jamaicans, or people all over the world. And we've been having a conversation, listeners, with Rose Francis Binder, who has been playing her part in further popularizing Jamaica and Jamaicans and what we do and how we do it, etc. And so we've decided to have this session this afternoon here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, to carry the conversation forward. So you were giving us your side of the story, Rose Francis Binder.
Yes. And to not take up too much time with it, I was introduced to the young men as they started or embarked on their journey to do the GT4 races in Germany by Mr. Gregory Shervington, who, by the way, is doing a fantastic job at the Jamaica Tourist Board here in Berlin, in our capital or city, our main biggest city in Germany, Berlin, with his team, Chevanese, and all the others, who really put their heart into promoting Jamaica and doing all their best for Jamaica. So I was brought in by him. I was introduced to the young men by him. I met Doug Gore, Mr. Hollywood, at their first training. And, Dervan, I literally fell in love with the boys. They became my other sons right away. I probably became Auntie Rose or the little mother hen. And so, as a Jamaican living abroad and living here in Germany, I kind of take it very personally and see it indirectly as my responsibility to be there for them in whichever way I can. My experience with public relations and with the contacts in the media and so on, I'm also called on that to help with some publicity and so on, and to try to move their fan base forward as much as I can. I love it. I love representing Jamaica, and especially I love being a part of these boys, so unofficial team, so to speak. I'm at races. My son is also there, involved with videotaping and photography and so on. So sort of like our family is involved, and I see it as a family affair. When you look at Family Gore and Somerville, it's amazing. When they come to the race days, I learned so much from them, but they're so closely knit. And they example of Jamaica and Jamaicans who are coming together imagine the two boys' fathers, right? They were rivals as drivers, right? And then both sons are now driving together in a team. I don't know if they explain to you how this goes, but it's two drivers in one car.
Mm-hmm.
They're dependent on each other.
Mm-hmm. I think just before we took the last break, I was trying to. Who was it? Was it Senna?
You were talking to Senna.
Right. And you started giving us the mechanics, Senna, of the.
Yeah, Tommy is here now. Tommy's on the call as well.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get any. I didn't think Tommy had it, but I'm here now. So,
yes.
thank you for having us on.
Pleasure. So can you go ahead and just give us an idea for those who are not so deeply entrenched in the sport, to give us an idea of how it happens? Hello?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Senna, sorry. Yeah, man, yeah, so essentially this whole thing came about, I don't know how far we are along. It came about with Senna and I racing originally in Jamaica, and from going abroad, doing our own thing abroad, having all these opportunities lined up for the year, and we came together and figured to ourselves, what if we raced on the same team abroad in Europe and in the same car, actually came together, and somewhat ended the rivalry of the Goran Sobel, and came together and went and raced over in Germany. And I think we thought that would be something incredibly marketable, as well as something that has never been done before by anybody out of the Caribbean. And to be able to go over there and now have a chance to perform at a very high level against very well-seasoned competitors, it was a great opportunity. And then going over there, there's all these different techniques and different people that you have to meet and learn how they're driving and the procedures that are standard for them, and they've been doing it for years on end. But for us, it's brand new, and you have to learn it in 5 minutes. So they get there and say, all right, you have to get out of the car in 10 seconds for a fire drill, and they just surprise you. They say 10 seconds, you have to jump out, and we have no clue about this beforehand, but we're coming there and we just have to do it. That's the whole thing of us going over there.
And sorry,
with the two drivers in the car, the two of us have to make some small compromises with how we're sitting and our positions, and then we come into the pits and we actually have to switch between one person suited up, fully belted in the car running, turn it off, take off the belt, jump out, the other person jump in, fully strap them in, and you have to help to strap your teammate in because you're in there so tight because all the G-force is going through you. You can't be there just with your regular belt that's in your road car. And you have to do all of that in under 50 seconds, So a lot of practice goes into it and a lot of thought about what you need to do. So that's our whole gist over there. I mean, it's a lot of behind the scenes that you guys don't see. It's not just the driving on the track, but again, with the media side, we have a lot to work on and we're doing a lot at the same time. Even just this alone, speaking to you guys is incredible. We have so many radio interviews going on, and the media from this has been great so far.
Yes, and the technology is quite something. It's everywhere within that space of the vehicle. All kinds of technologies on show, so to speak. I don't know who wants to take that one. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. The technology in these cars, like I was saying earlier, is outstanding. The technology to build it. If you look at motor racing, to even build a car is so hard, much less make it a race car with all the safety features, with all the speed features, to get this car to perform at its absolute maximum for a certain amount of time it needs to perform. But it's just a work of art. I mean, that's a big reason why I was saying we were switching from Audi was because I didn't explain it to you properly, but Audi actually dropped out of the GT racing in 2021 and haven't developed their car since 2021. And it just shows to us the massive disadvantage in 3 years of how not advancing your car in 3 years when you now race against other manufacturers who have advanced their cars and have 2024 models of their cars. difference in performance. And that's why we've switched to Porsche, because they have a brand new 2024 car with state-of-the-art technology, and it's going to give us a much better chance of doing our best, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think Rose Francis Binder wants to come back in here. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to also highlight, I think Tommy and Senna also knows this, that this racing team, WS Motor Racing, here in South Germany, that they're joining with the Porsche car, they are very experienced, and they also have other Porsche cars in their lineup. So I think it was a wonderful choice and decision by Tommy and Senna and Gore Somerville Racing to actually make the shift. So they're great expectations. People are loving the car. It's really, really sexy. And you have to go to the tracks, and you're going to have to go to Nuremberg. People who are here listening, who are here in Germany, or just tune in. It's going to be streamed live, right? And there's information on Insta and on the guys' WhatsApp, Insta and YouTube, how you can stream the races, because you got to hear the sound of this car. This baby is saying Jamaica is ready. So, you know, that is what we are hoping for from the car. And with these two experienced drivers, you know, we had to be telling people about their experience. We had a big poster board there. People were fascinated about motorsports and motor racing in Jamaica. So wonderful ambassadors, Tommy and Senna. We can't wait to see you here again in Germany. The fans are ready.
Got that? Yes. Got that, guys? They're ready. All right. So for you then at this stage is just to continue, Rose Francis Binder, to nurture, just like a mother, to nurture, help to nurture this sport and its people, especially the Jamaican people.
Especially the Jamaican people. And not to forget, Dervan, this was also yesterday, the big day in Stuttgart. It was all about speed and sport, you know, because the Jamaican Olympic team, the track and field team was staying in Stuttgart, and they visited where the event was. So it was a celebration. It was a whole big day of celebrating Jamaica, not only with our motor racing and our reggae racers, but also with our Olympic track and field team, with Jamaican food, with the music. And everyone told us that the kind of vibe that Jamaica brought to the Stuttgart Marathon, and giving away a trip to Jamaica, and also having our influencer, I mean, one of the, what we call influencers here in Germany, the running girl Joyce and a few others, supporting Jamaica and our reggae racers. It was fantastic. It's all over the internet, and we're hoping to gain a lot of mileage from it.
A lot more to come.
Kudos to the Jamaica Tourist Board in Germany. They are fantastic. They pulled off a great show, and to Reggae Foods that provided the best oxtail, the best curry chicken, the best sweet, the best cornmeal pudding. I mean, it was a day to remember.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to again and again and again. And
yes. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. Thank you. Well done.
Thanks, Tommy and Senna.
Yes, indeed. Tommy and Senna to the world.
To the world. And our Olympic team. It's Jamaica all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Every time.
For sure. I mean, all the brands on our car right now are fully all distributed in Jamaica at least. I mean, we have Spanish Court Hotel, Q8 Oil, Sandals Resort, the Jamaica Tourist Board, of course, Sherwin-Williams, which signed with Barita Investment, the GSRA, and Moza Sim Racing systems. And all of these guys coming together is what really makes this possible. I mean, without these sponsors on the car, I don't think Sam and I could even dream about going about to Germany and racing this Porsche.
Yeah.
So it has been a great ride so far, and we're hoping that with our accomplishments so far and what we're going to be doing in the future of the rest of this year. It's certainly going to be a wild ride, and we're glad everybody from Jamaica and now the German fans are on board listening and following our YouTube, our Instagram. I mean, we have some great vlogs out already. We will have one coming out this weekend again with the recap from the second round, what we call our nightmare round.
Mhm.
And you have to have the rise and the fall. So that's what we call fall. And and with the fall, you have the rise coming. So that's one thing I want everybody to look out for. That vlog coming out this weekend. I mean, past vlogs as well. We have over 30,000 views on one vlog alone. So it really shows the quality that we have going. Because without that, we'd have the 1,000 views of the people that follow us in the group chats and so on. But it wouldn't catch the algorithm and go worldwide, you know. So we're really happy with that, and we're really thankful for the support from everybody as well.
Indeed, and well done to you and the other members of the team for continuing to fly the Jamaican flag very high.
And Dervan, could I say something really quickly? Yesterday alone, although we were so busy, there were two companies, two gentlemen who came by who had questions about sponsoring. So, and they haven't started, I mean, the boys haven't won a race yet, as Senna said. So the excitement is there, and they can only go from strength to strength.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you all so much for sharing with us on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. We look forward to doing it again.
Thank you, Dervan. Thanks, Tommy and Senna.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there we go again, another team of Jamaicans continuing to fly the flag and playing their part in doing so. Thank you very much. As we continue with more here on Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Poro 106 FM. The time is now
17 minutes past 3 o'clock. 17 minutes past 3 o'clock.
when the summer sun is just too much. Cool down with frosty escapes and delicious summer recipes, all in the Gleaners Summer Cookbook, Island Flavor, on July 25. Get expert tips on how to beat the heat in the kitchen and make the summer meals your best ever. Buy the Thursday Gleaner, July 25, for your own copy.
Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we want to go back to that link that was sent to us by Franklin McDonald as we continue to build our interest in just ensuring that we are serious about restoration in this country, especially after an event like we have had, which is Hurricane Beryl. So Franklin McDonald brought to our attention, as he usually does, some useful information. And in this instance, it's learning from Hurricane Maria, island ports, and supply chain resilience. We got this some time ago, and it was repeated, and we're happy to repeat it because you never know where the next one is going to come from. So the restoration of supply chain operations is critical to disaster recovery. When supply chains are disrupted by catastrophic events, island communities encounter problems with response and recovery different from their continental counterparts. Isolation, limited port capacity, lack of alternative facilities, and dependence on imports increase the vulnerability of island communities. A focus on islands sheds light on broader challenges related to disaster risk reduction and resilience. And this particular document addresses these challenges in three ways. First, it connects the literature on supply chain management to disaster risk recovery and resilience. Second, it illustrates the unique vulnerabilities of island supply chains by examining two island communities, Puerto Rico and Hawaii. They are exposed to similar hazards and threats, including geographic isolation. Third, it offers key tactical, operational, and strategic actions on supply chain resilience based on the experiences from Hurricane Maria's impacts on Puerto Rico, directed toward emergency managers and planners working not just in island or in island communities, but other isolated locations. A key lesson involves the importance of communications and coordination in restoring lifelines, networks, and social relations following disasters. The 2017 Atlantic hurricane season was one of the most devastating in recent history and ranked as the fifth most active season, along with 1936, since records began in 1850. So we'll continue to pick, choose, and refuse information from the sources that we get them so that we are not just waiting for that time of the year, the start of the hurricane season, for us to get cracking, as they say, but that you'd infuse it into daily, weekly, monthly activities and practices so that it becomes second nature. And everybody wins if and when that happens. Everybody wins. And so let's bear that in mind as we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. 876 922 4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. We see Sharon Smith of the Jose Marti Alumni Association New York chapter participating in a fundraising event. In fact, she sold the grand prize ticket of 25,000 US dollars, and the winner has been contacted And they go on to say, J. Manny wishes to once again thank Sharon Smith for supporting the fundraising event. And it's out there as well. And then there's the big fundraiser coming up, the Hosemati Alumni Association New York Inc., J. Manny, and they are hosting, they'll be hosting Height of Elegance Part 2, Might of Elegance Part 2 Alumni Banquet, which is scheduled for Saturday, the 10th of August. And that will feature formal attire, open bar, musical messiah, and others. And it's at Antrim's Venetian Ballroom. So this is one of the fundraisers. And the schools have taken a beating from the storm, Hurricane Beryl. And it's another opportunity to find the resources to be able to fund the needs of the institution. So there's a lot of that going on, and we want to continue playing our part in getting the word out and encouraging support. And Bishop Douglas Gooden, good afternoon to you. Always good to hear from you. Thank you for your email. And there's another gentleman who has been very, very busy. I don't know when was the last time his feet touched Jamaican soil, because he has been busy. Timeless Passion exhibition by Andy Ballantyne that took place over the weekend. The city of Miramar, in honor of Caribbean, one of those observances, I think it's Caribbean American Heritage Month. And Andy Ballantyne, Jamaican fine artist, was at the heart of this exhibition, Timeless Passion exhibition. So that's another Jamaican doing his thing and doing it well. And we're always happy to get the word out as we continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Whatever is on your mind this afternoon, please feel free to share as we continue to take your calls. This one says, send happy birthday greetings to Mr. Stephen McLean of McLean Corner, Claremont, St. Anne, 101 years old today. Wow, that's impressive. 101 not out. And coming from 6 children, families, and friends. More in a moment.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30. It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515. Get an early start to your back to school preparations with the Argentina Communications Group Back to School Bazaar. Saturday, July 27th, starting at 9 a.m. Dervan House South Lawn will transform into your back to school headquarters with everything you need for the new school year. Books, bags, lunch kits, stationery, art supplies, school shoes, and a whole lot more at the best prices. Plus fun for the whole family and giveaways all day. Saturday, July 27th. Book your booth spaces now. Call our marketing department at 926-1100. That's 926-1100. Sponsored by Chris and Charles Investments, Overseas Examination Commission, the Students Loan Bureau, Consumer Affairs Commission, Old MacDonald Farms, Jamaica Civil Service Association, Candel, Digicel Foundation, Lysol, Sally's Shoe Store, Sanctus Bookstores, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Jamaica, we will always in honor of thy name. Steadfastly and wisely, and never agree to descend. From riverside to mountain, from plain to dust. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud, and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for staying with us here on Both Sides of the Story. Good afternoon to those of you who have joined us since the last time we checked. We appreciate you. Faye Weller says, radio station breakdown, Mr. Dervan. Sorry to hear that. And she says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and faithful listeners. God is good. We are together again. I'm here listening on my radio, she says. She also says, happy birthday, Natalie, wishing you more of God's blessings. Livingston White says, happy birthday to you, Dervan. Have a good day. Where did the rest of the message go? Have a good day because it's your birthday. This thing not staying still. And right, so Livingston White says, happy birthday to you, Dervan. Have a good day because it's your birthday. From Livingston in Toronto, Canada. Greetings, Livingston in Toronto, Canada. Thank you for listening. Felter Wilson says, happy birthday, Natalie Winter. Enjoy your special day. And Valerie Weller Peck says, you're so welcome. Thank you very much, Natalie Winter, for your message. And all the others who have been sending messages. Thank you very much, Cherry Henry. Always good to have you on board. Jessica, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Wishing you and your listeners a prosperous week, she says. And Valerie Weller Peck says, good afternoon to everyone. Cheryl Chensu also messaging us. And someone is trying us on one of our other lines. Sorry about that. Please call us on the WhatsApp number 876-365-3346. 876 365 3346. So that's the recommendation. We're not able to take that call on the device or on the platform that you wanted us to take your call. Sorry about that. Mikey Jarrett says, Monday afternoon, blessings and blessed love, my brother Dervan Malcolm from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you very much for greeting us from Brooklyn, New York. Hubert Fowlin says, good afternoon and a very blessed Monday to Mr. Dervan Malcolm, to both sides of the story, for 106 FM and your listening audiences. Thank you. Thank you all so much. As we continue, let's see, this one from Keith Brown, who says, good day to you, sir. I've just spoken to family in Westmoreland who still has no electricity. Oh dear. We're sorry to hear that. We are sorry to hear that. We'll see if we can find out what's happening there. I think I missed a part of the news, something about not enough light poles. I don't know if that actually made the news, but that information came to me. I will follow up. And sorry about the situation. We trust things will get better pretty soon. Errol Cross says, good day, Dervan and listeners around the globe. Good afternoon to you, Errol Cross. And thank you very much for staying in touch. And let's see who else is messaging us. Nikki says, good afternoon, teacher. I love the music. Happy to know that you are enjoying the music. Thank you, Nikki. Of Nikki's Spices, I believe. Norman Hines says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. Good afternoon, Norman Hines. Thank you for checking in. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Why so much problem with basic necessities after the hurricane? Where are all the plans and money the government announced before the storm? Question there from Cuban in Georgia. Franklin McDonald says, happy birth and Earth Day to you. To me? No, my birthday isn't until a few months or so. We'll continue. Okay. No, my birthday is in the month of October. That much I will tell you. But thank you anyway. Thank you. And the message goes on. I'm sure much success will continue to meet you as you explore both sides of the story. Well, thank you very much. Although I'm sure that message was meant for somebody else. But anyway, that person can also always call. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. What's on your mind this afternoon? Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. And just another reminder and apologies for the absence of this week's edition of Land Solutions. All things being well, Land Solutions will resume next Monday. So sorry about that. No Land Solutions today, but all things being well, Land Solutions will return next Monday. In the meantime, we're still looking out for your feedback, your calls, your messages, your comments, your questions on both sides of the story. And the numbers to call 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And there's the story which continues to do the rounds as far as the politics in the United States is concerned. And Jules Darmanin is reported as saying, hello, as U.S. Democrats line up to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris as their presidential nominee, we're taking a look at the last days of Joe Biden's campaign with our correspondent, Tom Bateman. I'm also speaking with Charlie Northcutt about his 4-year-long investigation into Louis Van Shure, a South African security guard who fatally shot dozens of black men during the apartheid system. But first, the latest, they say. And this, a little more information here, that the US Vice President Kamala Harris has thanked Joe Biden for his service to America in her first public appearance since he endorsed her to replace him as a presidential candidate. Correspondent Tom Bateman followed the outgoing president in the final days of his campaign. So we'll see how things unfold from here on in. We'll continue to keep an eye out and an ear as well for how things are unfolding in the United States of America. So some information you might find interesting. Endorsement galore. More leading Democrats are backing Ms. Harris. Former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is the latest to add her name to the list. And another angle to the story, cashing in, Democrats poured in nearly 50 million Jamaican dollars or 50 million US dollars or 38.7 million pounds in donations since the announcement of Ms. Harris's campaign during what was the biggest fundraising day of the 2024 cycle. And for those paying attention, meanwhile, in Congress, U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle, I wasn't paying attention to get the correct pronunciation of this name. We'll pick up on that in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every first and third Thursday during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice of Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice of Jamaica every first and third Thursday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. Spice of Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Purpose Jamaica Spices Project.
Triumphant, proud and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, and just ensuring that we are able to update you if and when necessary as you continue to listen to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So keep those comments coming in, those questions, and indeed the call for information and related matters. Now, someone messaged us. I think we read a message from someone by the name Keith Brown saying, "Good day to you, sir. I have just spoken to family in Westmoreland who still have no electricity." And there's some information that came to hand saying, well, dated the 10th of July, and saying Beryl's winds downed 257 light poles in St. Elizabeth. Oh dear. In Jamaica. The vast majority of customers of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, are expected to have power restored. Well, this date is outdated. Is to be restored by Saturday, the 13th of July, according to a commitment from the Light and Power Company. Oh dear. I think they're still having issues there. Terribly sorry to learn of that. In the meantime, please keep us posted as you come in contact with situations, locations, and conversations. All right, let's see who is calling us on this line here now. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hi, hello.
Good afternoon.
You hearing me? You hearing me?
Yes, hearing you.
Well, Dervan, how are you? Long time I haven't spoken to you.
I am fine, thanks. And you?
Yes, I'm hanging in there. Today is my birthday, so I'm doing the round.
Oh, this is Natalie.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I see my friends are giving you a happy birthday. I wouldn't mind sharing my birthday with you. I would love it.
I hear you.
Okay, I can't wait till October to share yours.
I see.
I see. All right, I just called to pick you up. I enjoy your show.
Thank you.
Okay, and keep sweet.
Oh, you're very kind.
I'm always kind to you.
Mhm.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for the
Bye.
call. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 364 365 3346, 876 365 3346. So keep those comments coming and those messages here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM, as we continue to stream live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and live on other platforms as well, live on YouTube, as well as, well, we did say Facebook Live as well. Thank you very much for your messages, your comments, and your questions. Please keep them coming in. 876 365 3346. This one from Arlene. She says, "Good day, Dervan. The volume on the radio is very low. I can hardly hear you, and my device volume is up." Yes, terribly sorry about that. It's one of those situations that the engineers are still working on, and we trust that they will have the wisdom to identify what has been causing that problem so we can fix it once and for all. But it's not for want of effort. The team has been working on it, and it's just a matter of time, I'm sure, to get it going again. And sorry about that in the meantime. In the meantime, still taking your calls and your messages and comments, 876 922 4112 to 5, 876 922 4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346, 876 365 3346. So we'll continue in the meantime here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM, and checking out some of the messages that you have shared with us. And let's see. Right, so we got your message already, Arlene Clark. We trust that we will achieve resolution. Sorry about that. And so we hope the volume will be a little higher, and it would be nice if you could keep us posted once there has been an adjustment, a positive adjustment. Please share the information so that we can report to the team, the engineers, exactly what has happened. So, but in the meantime, please, let's keep those calls coming in, 876 922 4112 to 5, 876 922 4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346, 876 365 3346. As we continue with more on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. And hello to Patricia. Where did the rest of that message go? Good afternoon to you. You obviously had been listening. And let's see who else is on board. So we drew your attention earlier on to the Timeless Passion exhibition by Andy Ballantyne. That's another Jamaican who, as we said earlier on, perhaps his feet have not touched Jamaican soil in quite a while, because that's how busy he has been with his artwork, and the demand continues to grow. So you can Google him, Andy Ballantyne. He continues to play his part in supporting Brand Jamaica and taking Brand Jamaica to places. Well done, Andy Ballantyne, and all the very best. As we continue with more on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And just a bit of the history that we get in from time to time. This one in 1692, the council, a body which advises the governor of Jamaica, passes regulations approving the development of a new town which is to be built at Hog Crawl across the harbor from Port Royal, and which is to be called Kingston. The town is to be built to replace Port Royal, which was destroyed by an earthquake 2 months ago. 1692, presided over by its president, John White, the council, a body which advises the governor, meets on board a ship in the harbor and passed a resolution to purchase 200 acres of land known as Hog Crawl, owned by Colonel William Beeston. That's why we have a Beeston Street in downtown Kingston. And the money that passed hands there was for £1,000. Hog Crawl was being occupied by panic-stricken residents of Port Royal, which was destroyed by an earthquake 17 days before on June 7. The resolution, which was passed, read as follows: there to be laid out 200 acres of Colonel William Beeston's land in the parish of St. Andrew, where the President and the rest of the gents of their Majesties' Council have appointed for the building of a new town. Hog Crawl is across the harbor from Port Royal. The council also gave Nicholas Laws, that's why we have a Laws Street in downtown Kingston. The council also gives Nicholas Laws the task of laying out the streets of the new town. The passage of the regulations came a day after the Island Assembly created the town of Kingston on lands purchased from Beeston on a plan drawn up by John Goff. On August 16, 1692, dispossessed Port Royal citizens met at the home of Mrs. Anne Lauder in Kingston to draw lots which determined allotments in the new town. In 1693, Kingston was declared a parish with Colonel Peter Beckford as First Custos and Edward Yeamans, the first town clerk of the vestry.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant round and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Still taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. 876 922 4112 to 5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And feel free to share whatever is on your mind here on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. And we continue to take interest in your calls, your comments, your messages, and your questions. Once again, a reminder for those who missed it, apologies for the absence of this week's edition of Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Land Solutions takes a break this week on both sides of the story. In the meantime, 876 922 4112 to 5, the numbers to call. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Thank you all so much for your continued listenership and support. And we look forward to taking more of your calls, your comments, and your questions here on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. And let's see another of the facts that we wanted to share with you on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Let's see what we have. 1935, the country reports that for the month of June 1935, the births in Kingston numbered 210, and then in brackets they have 133 illegitimate, and deaths 162. This is one of the areas they paid attention to back in the days. Any disease that caused wasting of the body, especially pulmonary tuberculosis. And there's a name for it. Is it phthisis, I think, or phthisis? We have a new one to learn there. We have a new one to learn. And let's see. Another significant happening, 1944, the Bretton Woods, New Hampshire Conference created the International Monetary Fund. On this day, in 1944, the IMF is a cooperative institution that many countries have voluntarily joined because they see the advantage of consulting with one another in this forum to maintain a stable system of buying and selling their currencies so that payments in foreign exchange can take place between countries smoothly and without delay. The IMF was based on the ideas of the U.S. Treasury Department's Director of Monetary Research, Harry Dexter White, John Maynard Keynes of England, and the IBRD, International Bank of Reconstruction and Development. The IMF began operations in operations in Washington, D.C. in May 1946 with 39 countries. And our athletic prowess goes way back, and it's still going. On this day in 1948, Arthur Wint, London University student of Jamaica, broke the British quarter mile record at Uxbridge Oval in London, England. And 1955, J.E. Clare McFarlane, president of the Poetry League of Jamaica, expressed surprise and shock that university professors were attempting to manufacture a Caribbean language in the laboratory. Languages, he says, are born, not made, and they grow as a child or a plant grows if natural conditions are propitious. McFarlane is referring to efforts recently made on the part of certain University College of the West Indies to study Caribbean dialects with a view to giving them language status. More things change, the more they remain the same. Let's see if we can give you at least one more before the next break. This one here, 1922, between 300 and 400 head of cattle at Montpelier Estate in Hanover were identified with the foot and mouth disease. The first case was identified on June 29. Cattle farmers in Copse, Lethe, and Burnt Ground in the parish also reported the disease. A word on Lethe. In Greek mythology, Lethe is a river in Hades. In Greek mythology, the underworld abode of the souls of the dead that caused forgetfulness in those who drank its waters. And let's see if we can give you another one here on both sides of the story. We were discussing motor racing earlier this afternoon. Well, on this day in 1894, the first automobile race took place between Paris and Rouen in France. On this day in 1894, the first automobile race took place between Paris and Rouen, R-O-U-E-N, Rouen. So it's by design that we were having that extensive discussion on a day when the first automobile racing took place between Paris and Rouen. Let's see if we can share with you a couple more before we go to the break here on both sides of the story. Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. So we look forward to more of your calls, your questions, your comments, your issues, whatever is on your mind. Please feel free to share. And we look forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. And taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Another bit of our history here. Mutual Life, this is 1985 now. Mutual Life presented a check for a loan of $500,000 to the Jamaica Teachers Association Cooperative at a special interest rate so as to keep down housing costs to teachers. In presenting the check, Tennyson Palmer, president of Mutual Life, said the money to the co-op was most important at a time when interest rates were as high as 30%. Whoa, what a thing. And let's see. This one here, still in 1985, Jamaica products displayed in the 31st Annual International Fancy Food and Confectionery in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, drew a high level of interest and gratifying sales response from buyers, dealers, and retailers from North America. Selected as one of the outstanding displays, the Jamaican exhibit was cited by the trade magazine. The gourmet retailer was among the top displays in the exhibition, and Jamaican products would feature in an upcoming issue of the publication. 1986, the largest ever group of stock transactions locally took place on the Jamaica Stock Exchange when Lascelles de Mercado and Company Limited, Lascelles, acquired enough stock in Ray and Nephew Group Limited to bring its holding to in excess of 50%. Ray and Nephew would now effectively become a subsidiary of Lascelles. In addition, Ray and Nephew acquired 100% of the shareholding of New Yarmouth Limited and Henriquez Brothers Limited, excluding the investments held by those companies in Lascelles, Ray and Nephew, Bank of Nova Scotia, and Kingston Ice. I think that company, if it still exists, it's under different names or different brands. Need to check that out. And we have another break coming up. So we'll hold some of the other information that we have, and then we'll share them with you as much as we can after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
when the summer sun is just too much. Cool down with frosty escapes and delicious summer recipes, all in the Gleaner's Summer Cookbook, Island Flavor, on July 25. Get expert tips on how to beat the heat in the kitchen and make the summer meals your best ever. Buy the Thursday Gleaner, July 25, for your own copy.
And play in freedom as all God's children should. With hearts and hands united, in thanks for everything that God has given to us. Together let us sing. On every side, the mountain, from Cape to us. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, round and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, and still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 876-922-4112. And the text line, as we said, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. What's on your mind this afternoon? Feel free to share as usual. 876-922-4112. Let's see what we have here. This one says, Professor, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Do you think VP Harris will beat Trump? Well, it's not what I think, it's what the people will do. Whether they will vote or not, and who they will vote for. So we'll see. Those who would want one or the other to win, nothing wrong with that. They're free, but there's one way to do it, and that is to vote. That is to vote. So that's what I would humbly suggest. So you say, good afternoon. Do you think VP Harris will beat Trump? That's the question. Well, we will see. We will see. In the meantime, we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And still taking more of your calls, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. So far we have a caller asking if we think VP Harris will beat Trump. Well, we'll see what happens when the results are in. then and only then will we know. But being the beings we are, we will speculate if it has to come down to that. But rest assured that we are going to comment one way or another, or include ourselves in the discussions one way or another. Nothing wrong with that. Something that people do all over the world. But it's if for some people though, some people want to be sure, or they're not sure, and in trying to get some support, to get a sense of what is happening, they find other individuals, organizations, institutions to give them that sense of where is this heading. And for some, it happens, it works. For others, no change in that regard. So there's the response. Who is this? FJ or RJ? RJ, hope you heard the response. And feel free to respond to the response. 876-922-4112-5. Those are the numbers to call. And the text line 876-365-3346. The paucity of calls gives us an idea as well with respect to the listenership and the extent to which the listenership is tuned in, or based on systems, issues, etc. It could be as well in terms of the natural disaster we experienced, Hurricane Beryl. It could be the impact of that, why you don't get the, not that you don't get the feedback, but there are some huge gaps between calls, so to speak. But whatever the situation, the show goes on, and as long as we are a part of the team, we'll continue to play our part in that regard. So thank you very much for your listenership and support. And we encourage you to reach us on any of the numbers that we've been sharing with you, and you'll be able to speak with us here on both sides of the story. Let us know though if you're having issues where you live. If there are issues where you live, if you're having technical issues, for example, hearing the radio where you are, that would have implications for you hearing what is happening here. So we understand that as well. Down the years, at some point, you'll get this kind of a silence, I could say. But it's a function of the extent to which people are out and about, the extent to which people are listening to their radios, the extent to which people are able to watch their television sets. It's a combination of factors. But we continue to maintain our position for the time being. And let's see Let's see how it goes as we continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And we see your message, Natalie. You're very kind. And right, so please, if you are able to share the information once you find out what is happening in your area, if you have an idea of what's happening in your area. I mean, one of the first calls that we got or messages that came through, it wasn't a call. It wasn't a call. Where is it now? It was this message. Right. So, for example, this message from Keith Brown, he says, "Good day to you, sir. I've just spoken to family in Westmoreland who still has no electricity." So that would be a factor. All right, Cuban in Georgia is messaging us saying or asking what has happened to the, where is it now? Oh goodness, this is quite lengthy. See if we can, how much of it we can cover. Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Why so much? Oh, read that already. Sir Malcolm, this is what happens when you divest all your assets to foreign investors. You can't blame anyone but yourself. The JPS telephone company, your airports, your bauxite, abundant, your agriculture, your transportation, the country's dependency on tourism has not borne us enough fruits. All those who are profiting from the country with tariffs, grants, and concessions is of no benefit to the local people. We cannot continue operating the affairs of a country in this manner. Why they organize a benefit? Why don't they organize a benefit? Why wasn't there outside help requested after the hurricane instead of misleading the public with promises after promises? But the real reality is far from what the elected officials and representatives are telling the people. It's a shame and and national disgrace what is happening on the ground. And the message goes on. It's very disheartening to hear what the people are actually saying on the ground. Mismanagement of the country's assets has put us in the position where in at the moment our elected officials have been caught telling untruths on many occasions. What they are saying is be patient. How can you tell a drowning man to be patient? And how long have they been telling the people the same story over and over again? What they think will happen. What has happened to the Jamaican creative spirit to come together and help each other, and peace and unity and gratitude for all? And that's from Cuban in Georgia. Thank you for your lengthy message, Cuban in Georgia. And who is this now? This person says, "Thanks for the response, Professor. I'm hearing you loud and clear." And that came in at 25 minutes past 4. Let's take the break and come back with more.
You're listening to Power 106 FM, the time is now 4:30. Are roads a major concern? What about those drains that are in need of repair or cleaning? Who's responsible for repairing my road and when will it be done? Join us this and every Tuesday morning at 8 during Morning Agenda as we travel on our roads with the National Works Agency and get answers to these and other concerns. You're welcome to visit their website at www.nwa.gov.jm. See the tender notices link for projects to be undertaken. You may also call them toll free at 1 888 429 5NWA. That's 1 888 429 5692. Or follow them on Twitter at NWA_JA and Facebook at www.facebook.com/NWA Jamaica.
We are the wise and never agree with each train. From the riverside, from mountain, from train fields of us, for our salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. So we are getting some feedback here to give us a sense of what's happening and not happening, but we will continue to make it happen. 876-922-4112-5. So we do have those who are in touch with us and are in fact listening. And there are those who are messaging us as well. 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. We want to hear from you if you're hearing us, first of all. Are you hearing us where you are? If you are able to maybe listen to one device, maybe it's your cell phone, between your cell phone and your radio, to get an understanding of whether the radio is transmitting or whether the cellular phone is functional. So just have to seek that kind of help from our listeners to understand where the outages are or any other manifestation of the impact of Hurricane Beryl. So it's just a matter of trying to work that out, finding out what's happening where, and then you'll get a better idea of what is happening. But we continue to hold the fort, as it were, to collect the data and share it with not just our listeners, but everybody else who needs the information. So we continue, like a stock record, they would say. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. As we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, and we'll continue to stay with you, our faithful listeners, for those who are still with us, We'll stay with you until such time. But in the meantime, thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. And let's go to 1962. The first guest of the government to arrive to participate in the ceremonies associated with the granting of independence on August 6. Mrs. Violet Watson of New York City, USA, is welcomed by Minister of Finance Donald Sangster. She's the widow of Jamaican James Watson, who became the first black judge in New York City. James Samuel Watson was one of the first two black Americans elected as a judge in the state of New York. James S. Watson was born in Spanish Town, Jamaica, on May 29, 1882. His father, James Michael Watson, was a sergeant in the Jamaica Constabulary Force and would later work for the Jamaica Government Railway as a conductor and platform foreman. His mother's name was Elizabeth Jones Watson. After attending elementary school in Spanish Town, James S. Watson worked as a bookkeeper, cashier, and then chief clerk at a hotel in Constant Spring. Could that hotel be Immaculate, what is now Immaculate Conception High School? Now there's a connection, or a possible connection. After attending elementary school in Spanish Town, James S. Watson worked as a bookkeeper, cashier, and then chief clerk at a hotel in Constant Spring, Jamaica. We'll do a bit more checking on this one. We'll come back to that as we continue with more on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. And let's see what we have here now as we share with you some more information. And let's see. 1969, the University Council meeting at St. Augustine campus in Port of Spain, that's in Trinidad, has decided to proceed immediately with the establishment of a faculty of law in Barbados and two law schools, one in Jamaica, serving the Western Caribbean, and another in Trinidad and Tobago, serving the Eastern Caribbean. And here's another bit of Jamaican history for you. The National Industrial Training Board, constituted provisionally by Minister of Labor and National Insurance Lynden Newland, held its inaugural meeting at the ministry headquarters on East Street. Charged with the objective of relieving unemployment, providing skilled workers for industry, and enabling the workers to achieve a fuller and more satisfying life, the board heard its immediate long-term role outlined by Newland. And another one for you. Let's see. 1975, Frank Hill was awarded a special Musgrave Gold Medal in recognition of his outstanding contribution to Jamaica's cultural development during the first 10 years of independence. And let's see. All right, let's go to 1999. Students hoping to sit the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations in January 2000 will have 2 additional subjects to choose from, says this historical piece, as the Caribbean Examinations Council CXC is adding information technology and integrated science to its list of offerings. This was actually late, eh? Because those with the technology would have gone ahead of us. Information technology will be offered at the, so it's just since 1999 that we started adding information technology to the list and integrated science as well. I don't understand. I did integrated science before 1999. Oh well, it's one of those things. But we can't afford to fall too far behind, if at all, because this is now a fast-paced world, now more than ever. And so we have some work to do in that regard. We do. Also, on the history books, 2009, the longest total solar eclipse of the 21st century, lasting up to 6 minutes and 38.8 seconds, occurring over parts of Asia and the Pacific Ocean. In 2010, the Gleaner reported that the government has avoided the option of imposing a new state of public emergency, opting instead for the rollout of a comprehensive crime management plan. The Commissioner of Police and the Chief of Defense Staff would, on this day in 2010, outline aspects of the plan as they adjusted to operating without extraordinary powers. According to the Gleaner, Prime Minister Bruce Golding, in an address to the nation the previous night, the parliamentary opposition's reluctance to support the extension of the existing emergency regime, which was scheduled to end at midnight, was a blow to the security forces. But he vowed that they would not be deterred in the bid to crush violent crime. Fascinating. Where we were, where we are, and let's see where we end up. In so many instances, the more things change, is the more they remain the same. Let's see. Some of this information we have to hold on to because we don't want to scare people. All right, let's see if we can find, the Jamaica Agricultural Society, JAS. This is 1994. The Jamaica Agricultural Society, JAS, is being shaped to effectively prepare relevant sections of the farming community to broaden and deepen the agro-industry base in the agricultural sector. The JAS management agrees on the basic premise that before modern agriculture can begin to realize its full potential, investment in better administrative structures is a top priority. And we're still having these discussions. What a thing. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Educate yourself. Take charge of your financial future and read a few basic books on personal finance. It is helpful to develop a basic investment vocabulary. It's also important to understand some basic investment principles such as risk and reward and asset allocation. Once armed with knowledge, don't let anyone take you off track. Whether a significant other who encourages you to waste money or friends who plan expensive trips and events you can't afford. Research professionals like financial planners, mortgage lenders, or accountants before utilizing their services.
He comes for everything that God has given all it to us. Together let us sing. Holding aside the mountain from David to us. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And still taking your calls on 876 922 4112 5. 876 922 4112 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Here's a message from Ricky. He says, Mr. Stephen McLean, the 101-year-old, is one of your listeners, and he hears you. Something is missing here, but essentially something about for over a month. I'm just trying to figure out what is being conveyed here. Mr. Stephen McLean, the 101-year-old, is one of your listeners. And I guess you want to say he has been listening. You've been listening, oh gosh, listeners, and he hears you, or he has been here listening to you for over a month. Okay, well, you could still try and sharpen the message just a little more so we can get a better understanding of exactly what you're saying, but keep the messages coming nonetheless. This listener who goes by the moniker Bunty says, hello, Mr. Malcolm. Greetings to all your radio fans. Tell man in Georgia, me and you are all in the world, cannot change things. All of us, all of this was for the beginning, you mean beginning, for the beginning of creation. Man to man is so unjust. The only man can change the things is, oh gosh, you're gonna have to help us, Bunty, with the wording of your message. It's not easy to comprehend, but we're trying. Jagide to you too, and shouldn't stop you from sending your messages anyway. By all means, go ahead. It's one way of expressing yourself. Nothing wrong with that. But a little help wouldn't hurt either in terms of getting a better understanding. But thank you very much for your message. And Cuban in Georgia says, Sir Malcolm, if tourism was doing so well, where are the fruits? Most of the tourism dollars are transferred out of Jamaica. Look at the condition of the roads that tourists travel on. Do the authorities think the tourists don't see them and complain bitterly about how they have to travel in uncomfortable positions when traveling across the island? The hotel properties are not the Jamaican experience in which they expected. The people are Jamaica's assets when it comes on to tourism, and it's been undermined by the tourist board, says Cuban in Georgia. How so? Tell us more. Oh, that's what Ricky. Thank you for the follow up. So what you really wanted to say, what Mr. Stephen McLean, the 101-year-old Stephen McLean, was saying, according to Ricky, he was saying that he had not heard us for more than a month. So for more than a month, he hasn't been able to hear us on Power 106. We're sorry about that. Terribly sorry about that. Terribly sorry about that. All right, we'll pass on the information. We'll pass it on. In the meantime, we remain committed to you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad, and we continue to listen out for your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And once again, we convey birthday greetings to our 101-year-old listener who hasn't heard us for a month, Mr. Stephen McLean of McLean Corner, Claremont, St. Anne. So sorry. So sorry to hear. But we'll share the information with the experts of the engineering department. Thank you very much. We've also gotten a better idea by virtue of reasoning, a better idea of why the paucity of participation. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. So we are going to keep it going here on both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. There's some information we shared earlier on, and I realized long afterwards that they were related, or there was a connection. They were saying the same thing. And that's 1997 with the role of the public sector in Caribbean countries currently under review. This is 1997. With the role of the public sector in Caribbean countries currently under review, Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, UWI, Professor Rex Nettleford, warned against divesting public sector responsibilities to the private sector, stating that the private sector concerns itself with money rather than improving people's lives. So there's a supporting story to that. We'll see if we come across it again before we have to wrap. Let's look at 1987. Prime Minister Edward Seaga says that it was time for multilateral lending institutions to recognize the role of tourism and fund the projects in this sector. Seaga was delivering the main address at the opening of the 15th Inter-American Travel Congress at the Jamaica Conference Center to delegates from some 25 member states of the OAS, the Organization of American States. And 1987, the rebuilding program of the mustard seed communities was launched at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel with a national appeal by Lady Bustamante, patron of the Mustard Seed Project, for individuals and business people to give their support. The mustard seed community at Mona Commons went up in flames on the night of June 25, 1987, apparently the work of arsonists. And let's see who else. Well. I got a call off the air earlier on asking if I can play this recording again before the program ends. So we'll do our best to oblige. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 22nd of July, 2024. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care. Yes, Ms. Barker. Okay. Happy you enjoyed it. Okay. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Thank you very much. Also with you. Mhm. Okay. Bye-bye. Sure, no problem.
Listen to Borough 106 FM. The time
Bye-bye.
is now 5 o'clock. News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.